Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing to take a look at the next week's slate in a massive matchup in the ACC as Syracuse heads on the road to Virginia Tech Thursday night, Lane Stadium, Blacksburg, Virginia. This is going to be one of the more electric environments we see in college football this week. I'm so excited to get into this matchup. I'm a Bills fan. Bills play Thursday night. They're going to be on the laptop because what's on the big screen is this ACC matchup. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say one, thank you to you guys. The support for all of these game breakdowns, it truly does mean a lot. I have a blast diving into these teams, kind of giving you guys my thoughts, but the best part about it is talking ball with you guys in the comment section. So one, if you do enjoy the content, you want to support the fellas, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, let's talk some ball in the comment section. Picks, predictions, keys to the game, drop them in there. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to talk about just the vibes around this Virginia Tech program. And quite frankly, the vibes around this Syracuse program as well. Syracuse lost 3 straight. I get they've played a lot of really good opponents, but they haven't looked that competitive. And they're dealing with a ton of injuries on both sides of the football. And then you look at Virginia Tech, wins 2 of 3 heading into the bye week. 2 of those games, they scored 30-plus points. This Virginia Tech team, I think, is starting to turn the corner. And we said this earlier in the year, actually in the offseason. Brent Pry is, I think, the right man for the job. And he was left a program that was not in a very good state. He needed to get some talent, needed to get his guys into that program, establish his culture. And I think right now, through a season and a half, I think you're starting to see them turn the table or turn the corner, at least, into terms of going in that right direction. As a college football fan, I'm fired up for where this Virginia Tech program is going. Really excited to get into this matchup. Now, I want to look at Syracuse on the offensive side of the ball, and this is probably where the biggest concern is for Syracuse. Not really much of an identity here, right? Garrett Schrader, a really solid athlete, can make some plays with his legs through the air, especially once they lost their star player in Aronde Gaston, just not much of a threat. And you look at this Syracuse team, especially the last 3 weeks, where's the culture of this team? Do you want to be an offense that wants to run the football and kind of establish that physicality with a really good quarterback who can use his legs? Or do you want to be a team that can kind of push the ball down the field? Quite frankly, you haven't really seen either one of those really have a lot of success against quality opposing defenses. And then you look at the offensive line play, it hasn't been great, right? They're not running the football well. They're not protecting the quarterback well, giving up a sack on 9.8% of dropbacks. That's 111th in the country. And you look at this Virginia Tech defense, there's not a better defense to capitalize on that than this Virginia Tech defense. Take a look at Virginia Tech in the pass rush. Sacking the core, a phenomenal game against Wake Forest. You've seen Virginia Tech, in my mind, play their most complete football against that Wake Forest team heading into the bye. Really, really good on offense, starting to kind of find their playmakers and find that rhythm with drones back there. And on defense, I mean, I'm a Wake Forest fan, went to Wake Forest, watched that game. We couldn't get anything going on this Virginia Tech team. And we kind of said it in the beginning of the season. This is a defense that has some playmakers. One of the biggest question marks was who's going to be coming off the edge and kind of providing that pass rush. Antoine Paul-Ryland, the transfer from Florida, been absolutely elite. 7 sacks on the season, 18% pass rush win rate, 20 quarterback hurries. He's been a first-team All-ACC performer, and it's been massive for a Virginia Tech defense that now is sacking the quarterback 10.5% of dropbacks. That's number 6 in the country. When you have a defense, specifically a front 7, that can get after the passer like Virginia Tech can, I mean, you got to be feeling really good about where this defense is. Now, I think the story of this game is stopping the run. Virginia Tech, the numbers on the season hasn't been great, right? 4.8 yards per carry allowed to opposing running backs. That's 104th in the country. I think those stats are a little misconstrued because of that Florida State game where Florida State ran for almost 300 yards, averaged almost 7.5 yards per carry. Outside of that game, especially the last couple of weeks, this Virginia Tech front 7 has been really good. And I've been banging the table for Kelly Lawson for, God, it's got to be 12 months now. This is a guy that I think is one of the best young linebackers in the ACC. He's been playing phenomenal football. And Virginia Tech stopping the run. They got some guys in the secondary like Stroman who come in and are physical in the run game as well. So you look at this Virginia Tech team, the biggest matchup here, I think, is can Syracuse run the football. They want to run the football. Can they run it successfully against Virginia Tech? Because if they can and they get into those third and obvious passing situations, a story that we talk a lot about, it letting Antoine Powell-Ryland pin his ears back and some of those guys and Kelly Lawson coming on blitzes, they've been doing a really good job scheming him up. It's going to be a long night for Syracuse. You combine the crowd noise and how rowdy this stadium is going to be Thursday night. This is going to be a tough task for Cuse. And in the back end, like Mansour, Dorian Strong, you take a look at some of their numbers. Dorian Strong targeted 21 times. He's only given up 7 catches. He's been really good. This back end, guys like Mansour Delane, Dorian Strong, they're really, really stingy. Do not give a lot of separation. I'm a big fan of this Virginia Tech defense that I think struggled early because the offense couldn't get going. But, man, this Virginia Tech defense has played extremely well the last couple of games. Now, flipping sides, Kyron Jones has just added some juice into this offense that just didn't really have that with Grant Wells, specifically in the run game. Now, this is not a Virginia Tech team that's been elite running the football. I don't think they quite have that dominant offensive line yet since Brent Pry has taken over. But when you have a quarterback that is as much of a threat as Drones is running the football, it creates just better matchups in that run game. And you've seen the run game improve with Drones being able to run it himself and just creating a little bit more space for the other running backs in this room. They got the run game going a little bit, but most importantly, like the explosiveness in the passing game, it has been kind of a game changer for Virginia Tech, right? They averaged 16.7 yards per catch against Wake Forest, consistently being able to hit those chunk plays through the air. Drones, we knew he had the talent. He's seemingly settled in as that quarterback and kind of just looks much more comfortable back there. I remember watching that Rutgers game where that's a really good Rutgers defense, and Drones just didn't look very comfortable back there. Like, not much was working. There was not much rhythm. If there was a big play, it was Drones kind of playing off script. This offense just looks a little bit more well run. I think they got better weapons at that wide receiver spot to hit some explosive plays. I really like where this Virginia Tech offense is at. Now, I do like Syracuse's defense as well, right? I think Rocky Long is a really good defensive coordinator. They run that 3-3-5 really well, give a lot of different looks. It's the strong part of the Syracuse defense, and it makes you feel good about Syracuse going on the road. Getting into the pick here, the line's sitting at 3 points for Virginia Tech, and this is a little bit more of a vibes play, and not just a vibes play. This Virginia Tech team is a different team than we saw for the first couple games of the season, and I'm not sure if Vegas has quite caught up to how good this Virginia Tech team is. 3-point favorites against a team like Syracuse that's coming off 3 straight losses. I love this spot for Virginia Tech. Home Thursday night, going to be one of the most rowdy environments in college football. Give me Brent Pry and the Virginia Tech Hokies to get to 4-4. And if that win happens, you're looking at a Virginia Tech team that certainly can make a bowl game. And that was kind of the goal when we were talking in the offseason about Virginia Tech. Can we get to 6-6, get those bowl practices, and really start building this program back to where it belongs? I think it's trending that way. Fired up for how this Virginia Tech team has looked the last couple of games. And again, Syracuse just not really inspiring much confidence, beat up on both sides of the ball. Give me Virginia Tech Thursday night. Cannot wait for this game. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.